Maybe you just signed on your first social media client, but you're ready to throw in the towel because you're asking yourself, is this really what social media clients are supposed to be like? Well, as someone who has managed clients anywhere from complete disaster, nightmare, all the way to absolute dream, I'm gonna share all my lessons I've learned about what social media clients are actually supposed to be like. Hey, my name is Milou. I own a $500,000 social media marketing agency, and I now help social media managers like yourself do the same. So let's dive in. Now, my first lesson is that your first social media client is not going to be your best client. As someone who is taking on their first client, you don't have much social media experience yet. And at the same time, clients are taking on a chance by hiring a brand new social media manager, right? You don't have your processes in place yet. You're still building your skill set. And I can guarantee you're going to turn into the biggest client people pleaser and just making them happy by doing whatever they ask of you, right? Not gonna lie, this is completely normal. That's exactly how I started out, how I built my skill set. And my advice for you at this stage is to make the most out of your experience with them so that you can build your skill set and get better. But just know for yourself that that first client is never going to be your best client. And at the same time, they most likely won't pay you the most, right? And remember that it is okay that you don't have it all figured out because this is your first experience, but this is really how you learn. And you will learn from each client something that will set you up for the next time you take on a new client. So have grace with yourself and really make the most out of this experience because you are client managing for the very first time. Now, the second lesson is the bigger the company and organization, the less freedom you will have. Now, in my agency, we have had all sorts of clients across different industries, and that's something I had to learn. Managing corporate clients versus brand business owners, entrepreneurs is very different. We have corporate clients on our roster as well as personal brands, and what I see is that the bigger the clients, the more stakeholders they have within a company and organization, the less freedom you will have because your content will go through rounds of revisions. There are many people involved that need to look at it, and you will have very little freedom. Now, there are many pros and cons when it comes to taking on corporate and big organizations, which is they have a lot more budget often to pay. They can look really good on your resume if they are a big name. But again, if you're very passionate, like myself, about social media, creating content, and wanting your client to have the best possible result, it can be tough and challenging to manage these types of clients because you want to jump on that trend without having to wait weeks for approval. You want the best for them. You want to experiment. You want to try new things. And again, this can be very tough if they don't have the freedom to do that. Now, the thing also is with corporate and bigger organizations is often they have their own marketing department. It's not that they don't have that, but they simply don't have the social media expertise. And so they hire a third party like an agency like ours so that we can take over their social media channels, which require so much time and effort to manage, and they don't have that resource in-house. So again, often you are not the sole expert in the department, but you're reporting back to other people that are in marketing as well. Now, the third lesson is that there are industries that are further ahead than others. And so it's gonna be different managing different expectations in different industries. My agency specifically, I have never niched down in terms of an industry, but that is a complete different video for a different day. But the thing is, working with industries across the board, I can tell that there are industries that are way further ahead than others. And I'll give you an example. So we work with several marketing agencies and we manage marketing for other marketing people. Now, marketing is obviously an industry that is well ahead of every other industry because they already understand marketing. They know what it takes. They give you room to experiment, creative freedom, and they want to be the latest and up on the latest trends and updates and things. Now, an industry like hospitality, for example, they are way further behind than other industries because they still invest and believe let's say in traditional marketing, which includes sponsored blogs and paid PR, sometimes even product placements, and older to more traditional types of marketing where they actually won't see a return from, right? They will invest in magazine ads, they will invest in mail advertising. So an industry like that isn't as open-minded when working with them, and you have to take that into consideration, because what I've noticed is that if the industry as a whole isn't that far ahead yet, you can't get ahead of them too much, because what ends up happening is that they're not used to that. The audience itself isn't as open-minded. So you really got to read the room and play it by ear in situations like that. It's not that you don't have the skill set or, you need to continue to prove yourself, but that they don't trust you. But instead, it's just as a whole, the mindset is a lot different than some other industries out there. Now, my fourth lesson is that the more a client will pay you, the more hands-off they will be, which is actually a great thing for us social media managers. Now, here's the thing. We talked about taking on your first client, not necessarily being your best client. They also don't have to be the worst client, but the thing is they often don't have a budget, that you are undercharging, you're not getting paid enough, right? And if they don't grow with you, they probably will not be around for very long as you continue to grow. Now, the thing about clients that pay the most is that they don't want to have anything to do with it. They are businesses that are already generating revenue. They know they need to invest. On top of that, marketing is a write-off for their business, and they hire an expert to do what they do. They're not paying you so that they can still micromanage their marketing, their social media, that they can still do your job, unlike some clients that pay you a whole lot less. So the more a client pays, the more hands-off they will want to be. And again, that is a really good thing. I remember in one of my experiences with a client that was a good client, they paid me a good amount of money, and I noticed that they weren't very communicative. They didn't necessarily need to approve content, and so it made me feel like, oh, do they not care? Like, are they not interested? Until I started to realize, no, this client trusts me completely, and I can do exactly what I do best, and I couldn't ask for anything better. Because of course, often we're used to having clients micromanage, giving us feedback, telling us good job, right? Telling us when we're not doing well. But there is going to be a stage where the client, their time is more valuable than anything else. And that's the thing too with social media and marketing, because it is a long game. The instant ROI people will see is that they get their time back. So depending how much their time is worth, they're making that back already by outsourcing it to someone like yourself. My fifth and final lesson is that the relationship that you have with a client is a direct impact on the results you can get from them. Now, here's what I mean by that. Personally, I cannot work with clients that I don't like. Now, this may seem obvious, but especially in the beginning, we take on anything and everything that comes our way, right? Any client that wants to work with us, we may see a couple of red flags that we will, see through and just take them on anyway, because we need the money, we need the clients. But the thing is, you cannot perform well for someone that you don't like, that you don't want to go the extra mile for, that you want to get results for, because social media management as a service is such a big time investment. As the social media manager, you put your mental health on the line every single day, creating content, editing, right? Staying up to date with the latest trends, community management, you name it. There is so much time that goes into managing an account. And so this is something I always say, and especially right now with my agency, I'm very picky about who I work with, because if I can tell we won't have a good partnership or relationship working together, then I already know I cannot get you the results. I will not want to go the extra mile for you. It needs to be enjoyable. It's not supposed to be a punishment, right? For you to have yet another boss. And so keep that in mind, that if you really notice that you don't like someone or wouldn't want to work with someone, don't just take them on just to have another client on your roster or to make more money. Because I promise you, the most successful partnerships come from having a good working relationship and someone that is a good fit for you. It's just as important as hiring someone that has the right skill set. So I hope that gave you some insights on what social media clients are actually really supposed to be like. Honestly, right now I'm in a position where I love all the different clients we work with, but also I'm well aware on what I explained today, how every client will function differently depending on the kind of business they have, depending on the industry they're in, and putting myself in the client's shoes to better understand how I can best serve them, right? So it's not always my way or the highway, and the same counts for the client, so that you can make this a very successful partnership with them. Now, if you like this video, make sure you like it, subscribe, comment below, and let me know your experience that you've had with clients from worst to best, so that we can discuss this in the comments. And I will see you next week.